how aware were you while you were shooting of Joe McDonald and the cinematography? Isn't it beautifully shot, by the way, in CinemaScope, in that black and white, and the sense of confinement, where he put a lamp in front of the characters and divide the space? He brilliantly shot.
Yeah,
were you aware of that kind of engineering while you were shooting?
You're more aware of Joe McDonald's personality. He's a very funny guy. He's always telling funny stories, like he tells about boy, he was fired from commercials. He was lighting a refrigerator, and the agency person said, "Hey Joe, you know, there seemed to be a dirt smudge there by the handle of the refrigerator there." He says, "Can you see that?" He said, "Hell no, you can't even see the refrigerator." So he was always telling jokes. It was very funny, and we needed that because, as you see, this is such an intense film that you know, you could go crazy playing this every day for 10 weeks. So there was more laughter on the set than any other set I ever did.
Really?
Yeah.
I guess you needed it to continue to work.
Yeah, you did. And every time that Franciosa was in a scene when I wasn't on screen with him, I would get hysterical watching him. That scene about his arrow shirt, I mean, that is hysterical. You know, I think that the best thing I did for this movie is not any acting in it. The best thing was to play Johnny so that he could play Polo. Because, you know, he was nominated for an Academy Award, and he won the Best Actor at the Venice Film Festival for the film. So he was more honored in this film than anybody else.
But you should have been nominated too. I mean,
well,
it's great.
That's great.
It's a great performance. Yeah. Bernard Herrmann's score, isn't that terrific? Yeah. It feels that the repetition of it, he's trying to evoke somehow addiction in a way by the music. Did you talk about the meaning of the title? I know some of you gasped when we heard the story that the father gives a hat full of rain.
Yeah, I think we didn't talk about that because it was obvious. You know, anybody that has studied the play and didn't gone through rehearsal, and you know exactly what it means. Is that he's laughing at the kid's torment, and that's the problem. That the kid could have never opened up about his feelings. Neither boy could open about their feelings to the father.
That impossible father. I've always liked Lloyd Nolan as an actor. He's
Yeah.
terrific. He's good. He's good. But the character's so maddening.
Yeah.
That I wind up, and he's so convincing, I almost think I don't like Lloyd Nolan. It's not Lloyd Nolan I don't like that character. Did you react that way to the character?
Well, of course, I'm reacting to the character. Yeah. I'm seeing him as my father. I'm not seeing him as Lloyd Nolan. As soon as we get on the set, we'll start working.
I mean, that's an impossible father.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it was a very good, this is something that I couldn't call in a sense memories, but my father was a very warm and loving man who I could talk to, and so this is something outside of my experience.
The head pusher called Mother.
Oh God, Henry Silver.
Fabulous performance, unforgettable, really. Unforgettable. But why is he called Mother?
Because all his addicts were his, you know, he was feeding them mother's milk, which was the cocaine, and so that was.
It's sort of an ironic way of saying how dependent they are on him.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to go on to my favorite of your films. Do you know Advise and Consent? Otto Preminger, in which Don Murray plays one of the first gay or bisexual characters in American film. It's an amazing performance.
Thank you.
An amazing performance. If you haven't seen Advise and Consent, you've got to see it. You play another tormented character, and this character commits suicide. But you're such an affable guy. Why did they cast you in these tormented roles?
Well, Otto Preminger had seen Hat Full of Rain, and you know, also saw my picture of the Hoodlum Priest, and that's how he felt that I really liked it. And also, there were a lot of actors that turned it down before me. I was by no means the first choice, because several had turned it down because of the homosexual theme, because they had never done that in the movie before.
And that they're afraid to be branded or somehow
Yeah.
taboo.
Yeah, right.
Forbidden something.
Yeah. And I thought it'd be great to be branded as a homosexual because all the beautiful actresses in Hollywood might try to cure me.
You mentioned The Hoodlum Priest, the film that you co-wrote and produced and starred in, so that obviously it said something that you wanted very much to say. Tell us a little bit about the film. Do you know The Hoodlum Priest with Keir Dullea? Fabulous film. But it obviously said something that was important to you.
Well, you know, I'm not Catholic. Most people think I'm Catholic because I did that film. But I'm not, and I wrote the film. It just happened to be. It's not something that I selected. The film kind of selected me. I was in St. Louis at a screening, the first screening of Shake Hands with the Devil with James Cagney. And I'm watching the film, and it just starts in the titles. I've never seen it before. And this priest comes in and sits next to me. He said, "Hey, listen, Don, ain't one of them square priests, you see." And this guy, he's talking like a hoodlum. And he's starting to tell me about his life and his work. And I said, "Father," I said, "this is fascinating. I want to talk to you about it. But I've never seen my movie before, so I'd like to see it. Come to the hotel tomorrow." So he came to the hotel the next day, and he told me about his life and working with him. He told me about trying to build this halfway house for ex-convicts to get out of prison to keep them away from crime, and how he wants to do a television show about his work to raise money for this halfway house that he wants to build for ex-convicts. And I said, "Geez," I said, "I think it's too good for just a television show, just one night and gone. I'd like to try to make a movie out of it." I had never made a movie before, but I got some newspaper headlines. I called him, the Hoodlum Priest. I went back to Hollywood. I wrote a 15-page outline, and I was partnered with Walter Wood, who is an advertising executive in New York. And he quit his job there and came out to Hollywood and joined with me. And we went to see Max Youngstein, the head of United Artists, with these clippings from the newspaper and this 15-page outline. And he said, "Yeah," I said, "I'll give you the money for the script, to get a script written, and if I like it, then I'll give you the money for the movie." Well, we hired somebody to write the script, and we hired a director to direct the film, and Kirshner, who later did Star Wars 2, and Haskell Wexler, who Academy Award-winning cinematographer, probably one of the best black and white cinematographers ever.
And that has great urban photography too, like this film.
Oh yeah,
Fabulous.
Yeah, he was wonderful. And but anyway, we all read the script, and all independently decided that the script was terrible. It was a cliche. Now you be a good boy, or you go to hell, kind of a priest. And so the director, Kirsten, said, "Oh, let's go back. I got another script. Let's go back to United Artists for this other script. Convince them to do that movie." And my partner Walter Wood said, "No, let's do this one. Let's go back and ask them for more money to get somebody else to write it." And I said, "Oh, look, we new guys never did something before. The first decision, they give us the money, and we come back and we say, we're sorry, we wasted your money. We don't have a script. We're going to do another movie. How about this? We just told you that these are the greatest apples in the world now. Forget the apples, we want to sell you some oranges." and also the other thing is say, give us some more money because this guy couldn't write a good script, but maybe somebody else can. And I said, "Okay, so what are we going to do?" They said, I was the one that wrote the 15 pages. I was the one that was knocked out by the guy's story. Let me write the script. So very doubtfully, they said, okay, go ahead. So I went out to the beach and I rented a little shack there and took a lot of food in. I didn't leave that shack for 3 days. And I wrote half the script, 75 pages in 3 days. I wrote it to Walter and to Irving Kirshner, and they read it. They said, "Yeah, we like it." They say, "Can you finish it?" I went back for 3 days and finished it. So in 5 days, I wrote The Priest. And then we hired a wonderful guy, the former head of the Actors Screenwriters Guild, Christopher Knopf. He did a polish on it, and that was a script. And then I just gave us some money and we made the movie.
And it holds up beautifully. What do you think of Hatful of Rain? You haven't seen it in years, have you?
No.
Years.
No, it's been a long time.
Long time, not on a big screen. Great screen here, widescreen. It holds up, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. Yeah, some of the films of those days don't hold up at all.
No. But this holds up, and there's no DVD and there's no VHS. Shouldn't it be available? Isn't it an important film of the 1950s? Don Murray, ladies and gentlemen.